If you started developing on one voice platform and then move over to developing on another voice platform, one of your challenges may be that the terminology used by the platforms is different. Let's take a look at the mapping of that terminology. A voice application. In Bixby, this is called a capsule. Alexa calls it a skill. Google Assistant calls it an action. The application start name. The name the user uses to start your application. In Bixby, this is called a dispatch name. In Alexa, it's called an invocation name. In Google Assistant, it's called an invocation name. Your natural language understanding training. In Bixby, that's called training. In Alexa, it's called sample utterances. And in Google, it's called training phrases. The context or input objects that you derive from that NLU training. In Bixby, we call this a concept. In Alexa, it's a slot. And in Google Assistant, it's an entity. How about the goal or intent of that NLU training? In Bixby, this is called an action. In Alexa, it's called an intent. And Google Assistant also calls it an intent. How do you map that intent to code? In Bixby, this is called an endpoint. In Alexa, inside your code, you have a handler. And in Google Assistant, you set up a webhook. Your code or your business logic. With Bixby, this is a JavaScript function or a remote endpoint. With Alexa, it's typically a Lambda. And with Google Assistant, you're typically using a cloud function, often in Firebase. Your output speech. Bixby calls this a dialogue. Alexa calls it speak or reprompt inside of your code. And in Google Assistant, in your code, you set up a conversation. Your UI. Bixby calls this a view. With Alexa, you're going to use a card or APL. With Google Assistant, you're going to use rich responses or interactive canvas. That is your Bixby Tech Tutorial of the Week. This presentation is available in that bit.ly link, bit.ly/voiceterm.